اوكي، وخلونا نبدأ لعبة ستانلي بارابل الترا ديلكس. طبعا الجيم ده افتكر زمان كان ايرلي اكسس او شيء، يعني كان في ناس بيلعبوا جزء من الجيم او بدايته او شيء. انا ما لعبتها. آه والفترة هذه زي ما انتم عارفين ما شاء الله ميتة، ما في العاب، فقلت
This is
خلينا
the
نلعبها.
story of a man named Stanley.
قصة ستانلي.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number
هذا أنا
427.
أنا ستانلي ترى.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He
هذا
sat
أنا
at the
الموظف
desk in
المثالي.
room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders
هذا أنا كذا كل يوم
came
بسوي في
to
الشغل
the
زي كذا.
desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This
أما
employee 427 did every day.
لا مش للدرجة دي يعني.
of
أوكي.
every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been
Okay.
made exactly for this job.
أبو الشغلة المملة حقتك يا شيخ. إيش هذا؟ أنا عملت سكيب شكلي ولا إيش؟ أوكي جبنا العيد. أبغى أشتغل عشان أحلل راتبي. ألو، ما في شيء بيصير. هذا الرقم الوظيفي 427. اوكي اوكي اوكي، وبدأنا موعظة ستانلي. المفروض اسميها موعظة عمار يعني. اوكي كله مقفل،
All of his co-workers were gone.
كلهم اختفوا.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
دقيقة، هو قال لي فين نروح الميتنج روم؟ الناس كلها ايش اليوم اجازة، شكله عيد عندهم.
How hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
اوكي اوكي، ليش في ناس جوا مكاتب وفي ناس برا؟ اوكي دحين مكتب فاضي، شكلي جد داومت يوم عيد، ما في اوفر تايم ولا شيء. 427 This is my number. ياهو فين الناس؟ الو. I hate Mondays. يا حركات الموظفين هذه. اوه استنى، ايش هذا؟ والله ما ادري. اوكي في بابين.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
هذا حيقعد يتكلم معايا على طول. هو بيقول لي ان انا حخش الباب اللي على اليسار. وات؟ دقيقة، هو اللي بيختار ولا انا اللي بختار؟ ليش هو قال لا اختار؟ اوف وتقفل الباب. اوكي طب انا ممكن اقعد هنا خلاص. استنى. اوكي دحين في واحد بيتكلم، شكله هو صوت ضميري او شيء. اوكي فهو بيقول انه اقدر امشي معاه واقدر اعاند. اوكي ما يعني اوكي خلينا نمشي معه، نمشي معه ونشوف. طيب خلينا نمشي معه، ما دام انه الجيم قصير ممكن نسويها على مقطعين. اوكي مشينا معاه، جينا الميتنج روم، ما في ولا شخص هنا.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
اوكي يقول لك يعني برضو ما لقي احد ولازم نروح لمكتب المدير، ممكن نلقى خبر او شيء. طب مين اللي قاعد يمشي البرزنتيشن؟ مين اللي قاعد يضغط؟ ولا انا اللي قاعد اضغط؟ لا اوكي في احد قاعد يمشي، ما ادري من هو. اوكي البيبان بتتقفل. اوه
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
اوكي يمشي زي ما بيقول. Let's go.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
نروح مكتب المدير فوق، نمشي على كلام الزفت هذا. مقفل هنا. اوكي what is this office? It is so clean. I want to work here. ما اقدر اسوي شيء. قفل الباب. اوكي هنا المكتب. Hello.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2849 صح؟ اوكي بيقول لك انه حتى هنا ما لقي ولا اي كائن وفي زر هنا.
Just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2845 فين ابغاني احطها؟ فين استخدم ال
2845
فين؟ هنا 2845 حيزعق علي.
Incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
فتحنا طريق سري بالحظ على قوله. اوكي. What is this man? What the hell? What is going on? اوكي. انا ليش نزلت؟ اوكي ايش صار؟
Descending deeper into the building,
Okay.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
اوكي. بدأ يسأل نفسه ليش انه مستمر في الوظيفة المملة هذه إلى الآن. هذا ما سوف نعرفه. أما تحكم بالعقل. في هنا اسكيب. اوكي هو قال نخش هنا فحنخش هنا ولا نشوف هنا كيف. لا خلينا نسمع كلامه اوكي هو قال نخش هنا انه احنا دخلنا هنا. لا 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 لا.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
تلفزيون.
Horrible secret.
هذه كلها شاشات تلفزيون.
Stanley thought to himself.
What is this?
The strength to find out.
اوكي هل امتلك الشجاعة والقوة لاكتشف؟ لنرى ماذا سنجد هنا. اوكي.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
الموظفين.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
What?
Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
What? كل موظف محطوط عليه شاشة كاميرا والله مراقبين. مين اللي بيراقبنا طيب هذا ايش؟
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Okay. Let's go.
No. He refused to believe.
هذا قاعد يسلك لي.
Couldn't accept it. His
لا تسلك.
life in someone else's control? Never.
Never.
It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was
سلك
it
لي.
even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind?
والله طريق طويل. وصلنا. What is this?
The proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
اوكي.
For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
يعني دحين هو بيقول لك انه انت خلاص يعني حتوقف المهزله دي اللي قاعده تصير، وحتقفل الكهرباء ولا ما ادري، يعني المهم حتخرب لهم. كيف نقفل لهم هذا؟ اوكي هي محطوطه اوف لاين. طب انا ايش اسوي؟ طيب هنا في باب facility power من هنا اعتقد. ايش هذا؟ what is this number؟ mind controls ideal awaiting input. اوكي مفترض يعني انه انا الان حاوقف المهزله هذه يعني. system power.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
طيب حطت اوف صح؟ طفينا كل شيء. خلاص جي جي. ويل بلايد. من جد؟
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
من جد حتى انا ماني عارف انتهى الموضوع كده خلاص؟
Yes. He had won.
هذا قاعد يسلك لي.
Defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet,
لسه باقي اكيد
even as
اكيد.
the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
من جد فرحوا زملائه.
Being freed from the machine's grasp. What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
ايش معنى هو يعني؟
As sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it
ماشيين
was not
كويس
knowledge or
ان شاء
even
الله.
power that he had been
الحرية.
seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
افتح.
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do,
نط.
or how to feel.
مشكلة ما ينط.
Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
طبعا هذا زي اللي كانه قاعد يغسل لي مخي، يعني يبغاني اصدق انه كلامه صح
Stanley
يعني.
stepped through the open door.
باين يعني بزيادة قاعد انه يسلك لي. طب هو الفكرة كيف انا بسمعه يعني نفس ستانلي هذا يعني هو بيسمعه ولا انا البلاير بسمعه؟ والله طبيعة.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation.
اوكي الايرلي اكسس كان يخلص هنا. اوكي
before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
النهاية السعيدة قال لك. اوكي طبعا هذا كله كلام فاضي يعني، هو ضحك علي مفترض يعني. اوكي المفترض انه انا اخالفه. اوكي هنا رجعنا للبداية. اوكي الحين نروح على طول. اوكي بيعيد نفس الكلام. نروح بعدين نمشي يسار نمشي يمين. اوكي انا اوريك يا كلب. طيب هو بيقول لي انه انا دخلت الباب اللي على اليسار، انا حروح يمين.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
ما بروح اللاونج. هو بيقول يعني انت ممكن بتروح اللاونج حق الموظفين علشان كده يعني تعجب بيها يعني. لا ما ابغى. انا ماني جاي. ماني جاي هنا.
It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
اوكي دحين بيقول لي انه عشان انا متحمس عشان ارجع للشغل رحت الباب اللي على اليسار، وانا ما حروح الباب اللي على اليسار. I will not go. Yeah. اوكي رحنا قدام. اوكي.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
اوكي سيء في اتباع التعليمات انا حتى قبل 5 سنين. وقبل 5 سنين شكله لما نزل الايرلي اكسس صح؟ اوكي. don't jump from the cargo left while it's on motion. اوكي. يقول لك في غرامة $1000 اذا قاعد تلعب فيها، واذا نطيت 5000. اوكي. ادري.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
بدي يعصب هذا.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
الا انت
I
عدوي.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's
اوكي.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
اوكي بيتكلم عن مين؟
Stop
في شخص
trying to
ناسيه.
make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me.
هم asking for her. مين her؟ مين؟ يعني يقول لا تقعد تتخذ القرارات بنفسك، انا بسألك علشان شخصة ما. مين هي؟ هو الشي. طيب فين نروح؟ انا ابغى يعني ما في باب مفتوح الا هنا، خلينا نشوف هذا. مقفل. اوكي ما في الا هذا الطريق. يا اخي البيبان تتقفل وراي تخوف. طيب في طريق ثاني؟ شوف هنا. الو مقفل مقفل. اوكي حلو انه ما في كذا طريق يعني في وقت واحد. ايش العتمة هذه؟ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مين هي؟ وانا اكلم مين؟ والله ما حرد. ما ابغى ارد. ايش في شيء ثاني؟ تفكرني بسايلنت هيل هذا. ما ابغى، حقعد في الركن هنا. او لا تنسر. ايش السجاير هذا؟ ايش هذا؟ What is this place؟ طيب هل حيقعد يدق يرن الين ما ارد يعني؟ والله في سلك هنا. ما ابغى اضغط عليه عشان لا يرد، بس اسحب السلك. اوه ما سحبت التليفون. دوب استوعب اني انا ما رديت. يس سحبته. ما اتوقع انه انا قدرت اسحب التليفون السلك. بدأ يتلخبط. اوكي بيتكلم عن زوجته انه هي اللي اتصلت. زعلان انه انا اخترت اجابة غير اللي هو اختاره. اوكي.
Wait a second. Did I just see? No, that's not possible. I can't believe it.
مين هذا اللي بيتكلم؟
You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
اوف. عرف انه انا شخص حقيقي. What?
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And
What?
I think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making.
What? والله من جد الجدار الرابع. قاعد يكلمني انا ويهزئني.
I'm going to stop the game for a moment.
حيقفل الجيم.
Educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
مع نفسك يعلمني كيف اختار اختيارات حقيقية في الحياة.
The best part of being a real person, but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people.
Okay.
Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack."
What the hell? Practice.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process.
ايه اختيار ذا اللي
Most
الواحد
medical
يسويه وهو
professionals
حاط
recommend
راسه على
making at
التمساح.
least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less?
وات؟
And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside.
برأيك مو مهم
This
اصلا.
time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in
بيسوي له
this video.
اختبار تدريب الاختيارات مع نفسك.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making,
Top.
we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
طب ما ابغى اروح. ما ابغى اروح. ما في طريق ثاني صح؟ اعتقد هنا ما اقدر اروح الا من هذا الباب. اوكي قفلته. يرد علي الان يسوي شيء. هنا مكتوب توب توب. ستوب ستوب. اوكي. دينجر everywhere. خطر في كل مكان. يا الهي ما هذا. طيب مادام انه ما في طريق ثاني. اوكي جاني achievement you can't jump. اوكي. let's go. ما في طريق ثاني. الحين هو بيرجعني. اوكي قاعدين نرجع. اوكي شوف. ما اقدر ارجع هنا. اوكي. ليش بيرجعني؟ ما برجع.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine
كان بإمكاني أنط أول.
senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all.
والله كان نفسي لو عرفت إني أقدر أنط.
Before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
اوكي. طيب. أقدر أنط؟ والله ما أقدر. كان نفسي أجرب. لو كنت أعرف إنه أنا أقدر أطيح. طيب دحين هو ما في طريق ثاني أقدر أروحه غير اللي هو فاكك لي إياه. طيب. أنا يبغاني أرجع.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
ما أبغى أرجع. يبغاني أرجع هو الحيوان. يبغاني أروح من هنا.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
اوكي يلا اديني تعليمات.
He came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
اوكي ما دامك انت بتعطيني الخيار وبتقول لي انه انت روح الباب اليسار انا حروح يمين.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
لا خلينا نخرب الجيم. طب ما في شيء مفتوح. المكتب بدأ يقلتش. اوكي no problem. نرجع ثاني. معلش ما فهمت. again. ما حروح. ما ابغى اروح. شوف الكرسي كيف. طب كذا اجباري لازم اروح على خلينا نوقف شوية. دقيقة بس ابغى اشوف حيتكلم ولا حيسوي شيء. اوكي قلت الدنيا ستانلي. اجباري اروح يسار. ما ابغى يا اخي. مش عاوز. طيب ما في الا اني اروح يسار. خلاص. طيب وساكت. اوه.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about this
خبصنا الدنيا.
story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless.
والله عصب.
And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever.
Okay.
Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do?
خبصت له الجيم.
No, I have to. I have to shut the game down.
حيقفل الجيم.
I have to.
لا تقفل. What? Oh my god. What the hell?
Here. I'm still here in this pile of rubbish, with you. You, who thought you were so clever.
What?
Now look where we are. My entire
تحطم الجيم كله.
It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon
هذا قاعد يكلمني أنا
you
ترى.
was to be like Stanley?
شيء غريب. لما تحس إنه الجيم
I
يكلمك.
tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it.
What?
That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
أنت اللي بزر.
Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been
أوكي بيتكلم على الاختيار الأول.
I tried so hard to make
إيه؟ علق.
behave exactly as Stanley would. That means
What?
choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
مع نفسك.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
مع نفسك. هنروح يمين.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
إيش هذا؟
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always
مصر إنه أنا أروح يسار.
quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set
على
of
طول
2
نخش.
open doors, he entered the door on his
ماني رايح يسار. خلاص أها. كسر الجيم.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley.
طيب كم مرة حيسوي لي؟
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
طيب.
All right.
ما حروح برضو يسار.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
ما حروح.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
اوكي.
Behave exactly as
طب قاعد يتكرر بنفس الطريقة. شكله لازم اروح يسار.
and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
اوكي.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
طب لو رحنا كده بنرجعنا كده كده كده.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
فلتشت الجيم.
Behave exactly
طيب
as
خلينا نروح يسار خلاص.
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Okay, let's
When
go.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
آخر مرة بروح يمين.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
اوكي شكله فعلا لازم اروح يسار.
Exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
اوكي.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
طيب غصبا عني يا حيوان يا حيوان يا حقير. طيب
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
طيب ابغى طريق ثاني انزل. شوف ما اقدر حتى انزل تحت.
Stanley walked upstairs to
ما اقدر انزل تحت. طيب هنروح فوق. اوكي نشوف هنا. ما في طريق ثاني. هذا قاعد يغصبني اسوي شيء ما ابغاه. اوكي ما ابغى اروح. اوكي طريقة تغير.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
حلو.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered
شو هناك الباندا.
orchestrated this.
Oh my god.
He saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week.
Okay.
Shark 115. Was
Night
this
Shark.
the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
اوكي ما اعرف ايش المفروض انه.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark
ابغاني اقوله.
115. He spoke it into the receiver right there on the wall.
مع نفسك ما راح اقوله. I will not say it.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
ما ابغى اسوي. ما ابغى.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it.
Yes.
But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I ask you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley
مرة ياخذ الأمور بشخصية.
knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You.
والله عصب وفصل.
When Stanley came to a set of open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What is this?
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay?
ايش انا قلتش الجيم ولا ايش؟
I need you to make a choice.
اما the end.
I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?
What?
Is everything all right?
ايش؟
Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both.
What is this?
We can work together. I'll accept whatever.
أنا ماني فاهم. هذا كذا طبيعي ولا قلتش؟
Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know.
ولا يبغاني هو أوقف زي كذا ما أتحرك؟ بيعطيني هنت يعني؟
Are you there? You listening to this, Stanley? Are you there?
شيء غريب والله.
It's okay, I can wait.
استنى.
Time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right.
أنا أتوقع إنه يبغاني أسوي زي كذا.
To decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
ستانلي. What؟ رجعنا. خلينا نسوي زي ما هو عمل انه وقفنا وما اخترنا ولا اختيار.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
خليني
he
أوقف
entered
أشوف.
the door on his left.
أوقف وما أختار. نشوف إيش يصير. مش المفروض إنه في أحد فوق اللي هو أنا كنت بشوف نفسي؟ لا تختبرني، يقعد كده يختبرني. المشكلة في اختيارات كثير لما رحت الباب اللي على اليسار. صح؟ والله ولا شيء. أنا هنا فوق المفترض يعني. طيب نروح يمين برضو. مو معقول يا
This
أخي.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Okay.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
لا ما أبغى.
Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
طيب بجرب إني أطيح. بجرب إني
Stanley was so
أطيح.
bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
خلينا
5
نطيح.
years ago. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
أما كذا
Good
جي جي.
job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
أوف والله نهاية هذه. أوكي طيب إيش أسوي؟ ما جاء في بالي شيء ثاني. طيب.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
ماني عارف.
Stanley
طب
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
طيب خلينا نخش من هنا، بعدين عند النهاية في اللي هو الزر ما حاسوي نفس التعليمات اللي هو قال لي عليها.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief. Oh no, 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 not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
اوكي كل انا ما حتكلم. اوكي يمكن في شيء هنا المفروض اسويه انا ماني عارف. خليني قاعد في الغرفة هذه نشوف ايش يصير. ماني عارف الاحتمالات اللي ممكن تصير على اي اساس. يعني لو مثلا قعدت ما اسوي شيء، هل ممكن يتكلم؟ هل ممكن يبدأ يقول لي اطلع برا اطلع؟ ما اعتقد قد كده يعني حيقعد. اوكي طيب حننزل تحت. يس
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
لا رحنا تحت المرة دي، هذا طريق جديد. اوه What is this man? اوكي
Stanley just couldn't do it.
رحنا مكان
Considered the
جديد.
possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred.
يهددني بالطرد يعني.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my
أنت اللي
co-workers
مجنون.
blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
من
And as
جد.
Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
اوه
Why did doors close automatically behind him?
ليش البيبان تتقفل اوتوماتيك وليه ماني قادر اشوف رجلي؟
These rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
والله قاعد يلعب في اعصابي هذا.
He came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled.
انه
This
مجرد
is all a
حلم.
dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job.
بيقنعني انه كان حلم.
After all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
طب كيف هو يقدر يتحكم في افكاري؟
He imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled.
قاعد يقول لي ايش اتخيل.
How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
ايش السؤال؟
Why is there a voice in my head
من جد ليش في صوت؟
dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
أنا سألته
The voice
السؤال.
was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts.
أم اللخبطة.
While he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself?
طلع مو حلم في الأخير.
Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
اوكي. يقول لك يعني صاحي يعني مرة
It was quite a shock to Stanley.
مو حلم.
He knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. That this was a dream.
يبغى يثبت إنه هو تحت
He
السيطرة.
closed his eyes
هو المسيطر.
and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool
بصحي نفسي.
blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world
أنا قاعد أمشي.
outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
يبغاني يعني أعتبره حلم.
Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please.
يبغاني أرجع أضغط
It's all
أزرير.
I want my apartment and my wife and
My
my
job.
job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
وحياتي زي ما
My
كانت.
life is normal.
حياتي طبيعية وأنا طبيعي. كل شيء حيكون بخير.
I am okay.
مع نفسك. You are okay not me. اوكي. أنا كده قاعد أتحرك من أول.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office.
صحوني
I am
صحوني.
real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear
What?
my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
كيف يقدر يتحكم في الشيء اللي أنا أشوفه طيب؟
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
مارييلا؟ مين مارييلا؟
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
اوكي.
On this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man
Oof,
who
oof.
stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself,
الحين يعني هذه واحدة ثانية ولا إيش؟
I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to
والله
think
تلعب في
this.
حسبة الواحد الجيم ده.
Seeing this man made her feel better.
تبدأ تلخبط ما أنت عارف أنت
Then
فين
she
دحين.
remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She
Okay.
had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
عادي يعني تشوف جثة كده
Ran.
وجريت. لقد هربت. طيب كده خلاص يعني. خلصنا نهاية كمان. اوكي. شوف الساعة أنا دوبي انتبه. هي الساعة 11:40 دقيقة. اوكي.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
طيب الحين نشوف كيف نلقى طريق ثاني.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
احنا رحنا وطحنا. اوكي. طيب خلينا نروح يسار بعدين افتكر في طريق ثاني. في طريق ثاني.
Yet there was not a single person here.
افتكر في طريق ثاني.
Feeling a wave of disbelief,
شوف هنا قفلها.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
ليش بيقفلها هنا؟ ما دام كذا بيقفلها معناته فيها شيء مهم.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
اوكي. طيب.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it
ابغى اشوف لو ما حطيت الرقم.
wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be?
اوكي ما ححط الرقم حشوف ايش حيسوي.
This keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
طيب انت بتقول انه انا مفترض ما اعرفها فانا ما اعرفها اوكي. ما ححطها.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
اوكي ما مستحيل اعرف انه الرقم 2845 سوري يعني. فماني عارف ايش اسوي. خلينا نشوف ايش ممكن يصير لو ان
2845.
ما ححط. نشوف ايش يسوي.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
Okay.
Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
اوكي فكه هو. فكه غصبا عنه. الحقير. طيب. طيب ما في دحين الا نشوف الطريق اللي كان مكتوب عليه اكزيت. لو طلعنا.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up.
Okay.
Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well,
Okay.
that's a great question.
الحين بدأ
I just
يتنرفز.
can't wait to find out.
بدأ يتنرفز. اوكي. هذا الغرض ان انت تتنرفز. نرجع.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated.
خبصت ام
It's
الجيم.
the keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a
والله سويت أشياء مرة كثير.
uncompromising narrative. Wow.
ناسي ايش الاشياء اللي سويتها.
Bolted to the edge of my
قاعد اجرب الاختيارات اللي ما اخترتها اول. يعني زي هنا مثلا رجعت للغرفة. هو عصب ان انا رجعت. 2 8 4 5. اوكي. ما اقدر اسوي شيء. المشكلة خلاص في بعض الطرق لازم امشي زي ما هو يبغاني. خلاص زي كده الحين نرفزته شوية وخلاص. اوكي يلا ننزل.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
تتوقع له لا مقفل الباب اللي رجعت منه من المكتب.
This time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
خلينا نرجع تاني بس ابغى اشوف ايش يصير.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor?
اوكي في كلام غير.
It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there.
شكله لازم اطفشه.
Boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time?
الحين كلامه تغير.
This is killing me.
اوكي الحين نشوف الباب اللي جينا منه. اوكي بسم الله ايش في؟
Oh my god. It's the boss's office.
اوكي
This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I
شوف هنا الباب مقفل. اوف حلو في تطور
Okay, I'm ready.
شو الباب مقفل.
Embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with No, wait. No. I need more time to process.
قاعد يستهبل علي. What the hell. قاعد يطقطق علي الحيوان. لكيع يلا.
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I
اوكي
have made space in my worldview for this
Okay.
astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
يا اخي سيبني امشي. طيب سيبني امشي بكيفي. هو الا انه حيسوي حركه انه يقفل لي الاسانسير ما اقدر ارجع. هنا ايش في؟ كاني حاسس انه هنا في شيء. اتوقع انه حيقفل لي الاسانسير.
Of course. Going back down in the elevator.
Of course.
How did I not anticipate it? I mean,
والله
sure,
ترول
it's
من جد.
obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to it.
انا اتوقع انه حيقفل لي الرجعه ما حقدر ارجع.
How revelatory Stanley's decision making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
غريبة ما قفلوا. ساكت ولا تكلم. بسم الله ايش حيسوي؟ اتكلم.
I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment.
انا خايف يفصل علي.
It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator, but the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating.
وقف الاسانسير في نصه.
Yes, that's the real thrill.
يا الله.
I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
ايش هي؟
There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting?
خلاه بشويش يطلع.
It seems like nowadays the only
What?
thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that
ذكية من
things
جد.
started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to
ماني قادر اتخيل كمية النهايات اللي موجودة.
This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations.
عصب عشان بطلع وبنزل.
I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to.
يدي.
We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it.
شوف
Which
كم
is why
دور.
we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive.
And
That's why
alive.
people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, though I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you. So that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life.
سوالي مؤتمر عشان اتكلم عن نفسي فيه يقول
But I
له.
thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better.
اوه تغير المكان كله. اوه شو ما اقدر اضغط والله كنت حضغط تحت.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
والله خايف مرة فصل علي هو. All eyes on me. Okay. How we did it? The pyramids. Okay. Like the guy who went to أما هذا أنا صح؟ ستانلي. What peace baby.
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door.
أما شوف ستانلي tonight show. Was first just machine. اوكي. طب لو ما ابغى اروح تصدق ما اعرف انه اصلا في لها حد. المفترض ما يكون لها حد النقاط بس. اوكي الحين ما في الا من هنا الطريق. خلاص نروح. ايش في هناك؟ doing a conversation with Alexander the Great. Alexander العظيم.
All right, are you ready? I've told them
Welcome,
you're going to speak
Stanley.
a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley.
مرة مقهور مني.
Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
بس ما بسمع كلامه انا. ايش يسوق هذا قاعد؟ The dude who came up with the pizza. هذا الشخص اللي اخترع البيتزا يقول له. اوه شوف رقم هذا رقم المكتب حقي. غير لي وظيفتي يعني ولا ايش؟ ستوري. هذا كأنه يعني يعني كأني أنا صرت نجم يعني وكده جاي أجهز الكلام. كله كلام تحفيزي لي. بس ليش هنا رقمي كأني أنا موظف يعني مو في شيء غلط. في شيء خطأ. هنالك شيء خطأ. أوه هلا والله. لا ارجع. ما اقدر ارجع. ما اقدر ارجع. اوكي هو اكيد لسه في وسيلة. ايش يا عمي ايش هذا؟ انا ضيعت دحين. فين المفروض اروح؟ والله ضيعت. ناسي انا فين. ايش الخطة اللي المفروض امشي عليها؟
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
نسيت.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
ايه عند الاسانسير. احنا لما نروح عند الاسانسير نطلع تاني. طيب من هنا.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
اوكي عند الاسانسير ونطلع.
Yet there was not a single
بشوف يصير نفس الشيء.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
اوكي. انا ما حطيت الكود، خليته هو يحطه.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul
2
anywhere. Could
8
he really be
4
all
5.
alone? This was too much for Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as
أيوه.
quickly as possible. He didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
اسكت.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy.
حلو.
So he relaxed for a
جبت
few
نهاية.
minutes with some calming
اوكي.
music.
شوف الحين تغير الكلام عشان حطيت الكود بسرعة. شو هنا تغير الشيء اللي الآن بيصير تغير.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked
اوكي.
forward into the opened passageway.
نروح يا عمي ننزل ونطلع. ابغى اشوف. حقدر اسويها ثاني ولا حيقفل لي هي؟ مفترض انه يقفل لي هي عشان اشوف حاجة ثانية. اوكي. خلينا نشوف.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up.
اوكي.
Me.
نفس الكلام.
Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question.
شكله نفس الشيء
Let's
حيصير.
find out.
خلينا نشوف اذا نفس الكلام حكمل على تحت. اذا نفس الكلام نرجع تحت نشوف طريق ثاني.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again.
Okay.
This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling.
اوه
that you
ماني قادر
have.
انزل.
Incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other.
ماني قادر افتكر اذا الكلام اتغير ولا نفسه.
Amazing narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
كأنه الكلام اتغير ولا؟ اوكي. اوكي نشوف. اقدر انزل؟ اوكي انزل.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
دخل المقلوب دحين اجرب.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
لا. دحين بحط الكود بالمقلوب.
Did you
مقلوب.
think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No.
يعجبني لما
Once
يتنرفز.
again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
نفسي افتكر من جد الكلام نفسه اللي تغير. يعني ما بجيب نفس النهاية. ايه نفسه.
Oh my god. It's the boss's office. This
5
absolutely
4
changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
يعني دحين يترولني. يلا يا لكيع. خلينا نكمل قدام دحين.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait.
لا خلينا نلحق.
No, I need more time to process.
ما اقدر انزل الا لما نخلص الفيلم حقه ده. اوكي يعني اتوقع انه لو كملت برضو طلعت ونزلت انه حيصير نفس الشيء، فحكمل قدام المرة دي. ما ساب لي اي خيار يعني.
All right, I have fully... Of course, going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate?
ما حاطلع تاني.
Sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it.
Okay.
It's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is.
ايه نفس الكلام
Fresh
متكرر.
air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
دحين نمشي قدام ونشوف ايش في اوبشن تاني نقدر نسوي عكس اللي هو يبغاه. اوكي ما حاطلع تاني. ايش في اختيار؟ لا ما حروح هنا، حروح هنا اسكيب. نشوف من الاسكيب هنا ما قد جينا. اما حموت يقول لك. حموت في نهاية الطريق هذا. عادي خليني اموت. ارحم من اني اقعد معك.
Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
يبغاني ارجع. شوف الطريق طول.
Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
رايح اواجه موتي. الى الموت. اوكي. يعني اوه لا اوكي. What is this?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise,
حموت.
he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Okay, حنفعس.
The bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is.
ما اقدر امشي صح؟
Perhaps his death was of no great loss.
ما اقدر امشي.
Plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this
الوداع
to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
يبغاني اموت او حموت خلاص. Goodbye. Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator,
Oof.
as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
What?
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body,
What?
killing him instantly.
تغير صوت اوه وتغير صوته صار بنت. يضحك علي قاعد. ستانلي Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes
Oof.
before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
والله ضياع. ايش هذا؟ وات يعني حرجع مكتبي يقول لك او تقول لك what is this؟ نروح يمين ولا يسار؟ يمين درب الغميم.
Every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance.
Oh.
Death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he
هو
started?
already ميت يقول لك يعني من بداية الجيم. What is this؟ هذا الجيم، هذا المكتب، هذا التصميم المكتب، هذا الكمبيوتر حقي. بس ما حضغط شيء الآن دقيقة. اوكي هذه الكمبيوترات حقت المكتب برضو كلها شيء قديم. ايش هذا؟ Based on the work of this. اوه من 2013. هذه التختيمة الحقيقية يا شباب ولا؟ اوكي. اوه على زرير. انا افتكر بس جاني زر واحد. اوكي ماني فاهم. في حاجة غريبة. في حاجة انا ماني فاهمها. ايش اللي بيصير؟ والله ضياع. مرة ضياع. ايش هذا؟ وصوت طب هنا في يمين وفي يسار. شوف يمين. انا نسيت كيف جيت هنا. شوف الساعة من اول نفس الشيء 11 وهذا مكتب شوف هذا المكان ما جيته. ما جيت اوف. شوف ممكن اجي المكتب حق البوس شوف هذا الشكل ما قد صار لي. طيب ايش في هنا؟ ايش الضياع هذا؟ هنا المكان اللي رحت فيه يمين ولا يسار؟
Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party
What?
for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible to you?
What?
Through the green door.
هذا نفس اللي هو
This elevator for sure
اسمه كيفن بريدج ثينج.
they stood on the story.
For the entire game roughly 3 separated time over the 2 years. 3 مرات يسوي التسجيل حق الجيم.
Well, try the other one. And finally, he pushed the number 9.
These are clips from early takes that were not. هذه الأصوات ما استخدمت في الجيم اللي الآن نسمعها. اوكي طيب هذا زي المستودع عن الجيم يعني ولا وات؟ يعني كذا في كل شيء في الجيم. هذه النهاية الأولى. وات؟ ايش هذا؟ شفتك. شفته. ايش هذا يا شباب؟ What is this؟ استنى اقدر اضغط دير ظهري. اه 38. وات؟ ايش هذا؟ انا متأكد يعني هذه فيها لغز. 45 38 45. ايش هذا؟ 170. والله شكله لغز صعب. هو انه الرقم يعني بيتغير راندوم، وبيست على اخر رقم ممكن احط 11. ابغى اشوف يتعاد ولا 32. تو ماتش. ما بتتكرر الارقام. 11. خلينا نشوف مرة كمان. اوكي شكله بس كده هبالة. ما ادري ماني عارف. اوكي هنا في اشياء ما سويتها انا. ما ادري انا شكلي جبت نهاية المخرج. What is this؟ اوكي سجلت الارقام. اوكي بس ماني شايف لها معنى الارقام دي كلها. ماني عارف هنا ايش اللي بيصير. اوكي خلينا نكمل. ما ضيعت والله من فين جيت. اوكي جيت من هناك. طب هناك ما في طريق. اوكي في طريق هنا وهنا وفي كل مكان طريق. هنا اكزت. طب خلينا نشوف هنا ايش في. اوكي هنا المكتب لما يتكسر. هذا المكتب حقي. شوف مكرر 3 مرات. اوكي ماني شايف اي اختلاف فيها ولا والله في اختلافات بسيطة. اوكي الله يعطيك العافية معاذ. ثانك يو. من جد انا ضايع والله. احساس ضياع ما قد حسيته في حياتي. congratulations. what جيمس. هذا الناس شكلهم كاتبين الكومنتات حقت الجيم يعني رأيهم في الجيم. اوكي اوكي. ايش هذا بيصير على التنازلي؟ وات؟ ايش حيصير؟ ولا شيء، تنعاد. في اماكن واشياء ما سويتها يا شباب. ميتينج روم، والله مش فاهم. وهذا شكله بيوريني كل شيء. طيب خلينا نروح الاكزيت. بيوريني كل شيء في الجيم. تضحك.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one
مين هم اللي
another.
بيحاولوا يتحكموا في
How they
الثانيين؟
both wish to be free.
اوكي. في اون اوف. وات از اون اوف؟ هي محطوطة على اون. اضغطها ولا ارجع؟ تخيل الباب يتقفل. اوكي لا عادي اقدر ارجع. ما اعتقد في شيء ثاني صح؟ ما في شيء فاتني هنا، يعني رحنا كل الغرف وكل شيء. وما في شيء اقدر اضغطه الا هذا اتوقع يعني. ضغطت.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
مين هم اللي يبغوا يحتاجوا بعض؟
No, perhaps not.
Ooh.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
What?
But listen to me. You can still save these two.
مين
You can
هم؟
stop the program before they both fail.
كيف؟
Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat
اما بيقول لي push escape واضغط quit.
this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
ايش رايكم؟
You do choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
ايش رايكم؟ بيقول لي سوي كده وكويت. سويها؟ والله شكلي بسويها. والله خرجني برا الجيم تماما. نكمل. والله ما ادري شكلي خبصت ام الدنيا. حسبت في بعض الالعاب ترى بيكون فيها انك تخرج برا الجيم وتسوي ديليت. وات؟ وات؟ لا تقول لي راح كل شيء. استنى، هذه ما جات اول. دقيقة. اوه شوف بيقول لي شكرا انك سويت الساعة مرتين. Don't take that. They just leave the sentence. اوكي. شوف بيقول لي انه انت مرتين سويت الساعة. وشكرا لك. Care about the experience you're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing. Okay. I'll make you a deal. Since you've been incorporated. بما انك متعاون. Next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. اوكي يقول لي المرة الجاية لما تيجي تسوي ريبوت للجيم وتبدأ الجيم حط الوقت المفضل لك. Pick whatever time you want even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. اوكي. اختار الوقت اللي عجبني. لما شو اسمه اشغل الجيم مرة ثانية. والله راحت التخزينة. وات؟
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
لا ايش رايكم؟ دقيقة. ايش اللي صار دحين؟ يعني راح التخزين كله. طيب begin the game again. طب نشوف begin the game again يجيب لي الساعة. لا خلاص quit. والله خبصت الدنيا شكله. دحين نحط الوقت المناسب لنا. ايش نحط وقت لو انه جانا فعلا زي ما هو بيقول؟ شوف على طول جات الوقت. طيب ايش نحط الوقت المناسب لنا يا شباب؟ نحط اللي هو 11 و20 زي ما هو حاطط ولا ايش رايكم؟ داش هو 11 كان و20 صح؟ Your favorite time of the day. اوكي الكلام تغير. Could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? ايش يبغى يعطينا الوقت؟ I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious. How accurate? Let's another slider to find out. يعني بيقول لي قديش الوقت هذا مظبوط. حقول مظبوط متأكد يعني. Yes, regardless of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting this setting. I feel like I'm learning more about it. قاعد يتعلم عني. قاعد يجمع داتا. We had more slides but we've gone through all the slides I have. Okay. Perhaps I can invite some new slides to get. Okay. بيجيب داتا زيادة من عندي. Let me have a couple of phones. Okay. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. اما كمان يبغاني اقفل الجيم واشغله تاني. يقفل الجيم. ايش الحركة الغبية دي؟ خليني اقفل الجيم واشغله اكثر من مرة. اوكي. هذه كأنها غير. اوه والله بتتغير. وليش؟ اوكي. Please adjust the silence. The dog and the cat are friend. اوكي خليهم يصيروا اصحاب. خايف لا يجيني جمب سكير. لا. اوكي كذا مرة. هذا شيء جديدة. Please adjust the slide until the number 5 become the number 9. What is this? دحين هي الفكرة انه هو قاعد يسوي الاشياء دي عشان يخليني اسمع الكلام. adjust لين ما توقف انك تسوي adjust. What the hell? Until you stop adjusting the slide. Okay. which of the two made up character below is the most appealing to you. ايش معناتها اوكي ايش؟ ما ادري. كلمات عشوائية ترى. ما اعرف. Please don't adjust the slider. الحين نسمع كلامه ولا ما نسمع؟ هذا 9 يس، بس كان في رقم 9. نسمع كلامه ولا ما نسمع؟ Please don't adjust. إيه لا أنا ما عندي مشكلة، بس إنه ماني عارف. Please don't adjust يعني هو دحين. طيب حسمع كلامه. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? هذا الوقت الآن هو الوقت المناسب. What؟ الوقت الصحيح؟ إيش؟ هل الوقت الآن هو الوقت الصحيح؟ حق إيش؟ Is the time that it is right now the correct time? No. What is time anyway? شوف السؤال يعني ايش هو الوقت؟ الجواب يس ولا نو؟ What؟ ايوه بس what is time anyway؟ يس ولا نو؟ المفروض ما هو إجابة يس ولا نو. لا ساعة الجهاز ما تغيرت. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Yes, of course. Help? يا شباب أنا مخي ضرب. والله مخي ضرب، أنا ماني عارف إيش اللي بيصير. الأجوبة يس ونو. طيب يس. Help. Will you come back to visit me? مين أنت؟ إيش أختار؟ Will you come back to visit me? مين أنت؟ يس ولا نو على أي أساس؟ ولا قصدهم الجيم يعني ولا وات؟ طيب حنزورك يا اخويا. طيب اوكي. اوه اوكي استنى الجيم فجعني ما رضي يشتغل. طيب طيب رجع والله. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We are like strange. احنا يعني زي اغراب لبعض. اوكي. All of the game. هو زبط كل اعدادات الجيم to your extracts specifically but who hasn't? It's just what I do like a day job. مين انت؟ مين هذا بيتكلم؟ والشغل خلص. There is no more information for me to gather. I have collected all the data on you that I can. جمع كل المعلومات اللي يحتاج. والله أنا مو بس راسي صدع، أنا لساني خلاص كده. And I still don't really know you. Okay, let's know each other. Let's meet. وأنت ما تعرفني صح، أنا ما أعرف أنت مين. And neither of us know that time it is. ولا أحد فينا يعرف الوقت. Some settings are just unsettable. بعض الإعدادات يعني ما لها حل يعني. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game. أوكي يقول لي الساعة أصلا ما بتسوي ولا شيء في الجيم. You won't have me here when the game starts next time. أوكي ما حلقاه مرة ثانية هنا. لا Video games were meant to be played alone. الألعاب مفترض إنك تلعبها لحالك. You like being alone, don't you? هل تحب إنك تكون لحالك؟ طب اديني اختيارات. That's maybe the only information I really learned about. إنه أنت تحب تكون لحالك. What? What the hell man? حان وقت الرحيل. There's a one setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. يعني في اعدادات لسه باقي يسويها بس حتاخد وقت. It's not really in my job description but it's okay. يعني يقول لك هي ما هي شغلته بس حيسويها. Perhaps you'll see me again if you can find me. تقدر تشوفني او يعني تقابلني مرة ثانية اذا قدرت تحصلني. Talk soon. What? والله يا جماعة انا مخي صدع. انا مخي خلاص. جاتني قشعريرة والله. حقيقي ماني عارف ايش اسوي. نسوي مرة ثانية. نسوي مرة ثانية شوف ايش يجي. مخي نشف. طيب مفترض هو قال ما حاجيك ترى ثاني بس خلينا نشوف. والله فعلا ما جاء. هو قال في سيتنج بنسويها. لا. طب خلينا نشوف begin.
This is the story.
انعادت من البداية. انعادت من البداية. والله أنا ناسي إيش سويت إيش ما سويت.
All of his co-workers were gone.
ناسي إيش المفروض أسوي.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content. محتوى جديد. Yes.
New content?
Yes.
What does that
Progress.
mean? New content.
في تقدم. Yay. New content. يا طلع صح ترى لما اول عملت سكيب زي ما قالت لي النار ترى البنت نعمل سكيب واخرج ترى كملتنا يعني ولا كان ما ادري متنا ولا كان ما ادري ايش صار. خلينا نكمل نشوف. من كويس اني سمعت كلامها. اوكي. What is happening?
And thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013
من
on home
2013.
computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
اوكي. سووا زي الريميك للجيم ونزلوه على البلاي ستيشن والاجهزه الثانيه. في محتوى زياده يعني. اوكي.
Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
دحين
This sounds delightful.
هنا الشيء
I'm
الجديد.
very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
اوكي رجع الصوت الكريه. دحين هنا المحتوى الجديد. اوكي يعني خلصنا الجيم الاساسي ودحين بنخش في الشيء الجديد.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure
Okay.
it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
ايه
Is it broken?
اوه ما في زر طيب.
Should we be moving somewhere?
اوكي
All right,
تحركنا.
finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
رجع الكريه. رجع الكريه انا حسبت تخلصت منه.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
اديني الكونتنت. والله الله يستر ايش فيه هنا. انا خايف. اوه نيو كونتنت.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
جمبس مكان القفز، دائرة القفز. اوه 1 2 3 في نط. ليش طيب؟ غريبة. اوكي هذا كونتنت جديد يقول لك. ولا ما بكمل في الاختيارات هذه يعني كذا اللي ما اكمل واروح اشوف.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
اوكي ترى ما اقدر انط الا هنا. ما حكمل النطات. اشوف. اوكي كمل. اوكي يكمل ما يطلبه المشاهدون. اوكي بس كده خلاص. اوكي ما اعرف ايش الفرق بس اوكي. راح الكونتنت الجديد.
Another elevator. Stanley,
Okay.
I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes.
Okay.
I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it.
يعني هو بيتصرف كأنه هو ما يعرف ايش الكونتنت الزيادة. اوكي ترى ما اقدر انط للعلم يعني. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
You've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley?
شكرا على انك يعني استمتعت بالمحتوى الجديد.
Developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar.
يعني الاشياء اللي صارت في الاول كلها دي موجودة من اول.
In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements and it's hard to believe one of them actually says test achievement please ignore. What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them.
بيروح تويتر يوريهم.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations.
What?
You're still with me. Why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks.
يبغاني ارجع
Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
ما عدت انا هو عاد. دقيقة ايش هذا؟ مكان تغير. مكان تغير. المكان تغير يا شباب. هذا المكان القديم. اللخط. شو ابغى اجي من هنا؟ والله مستحيل اروح له. دقيقة بالله يا شباب دحين جاي بسريع. طيب نروح ولا كيف؟ نروح وراه مكان ما قلنا نروحه ولا؟ بس ما في طريق ثاني احس، صح؟ الا والله فيه. ما حروح وراه. اوكي ما حروح وراه.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine.
Okay.
You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
طيب ما حروح وراه لاني انا اكره الصوت ده المزعج لانه كذاب. فما دام عندي اوبشن ثاني اني اروح من هنا حروح من هنا. مقفل مقفل.
When Stanley came to a set of two open
لا
doors,
رجعنا
he
للبداية.
entered the door on his left.
ما حروح اللفت يا عمي مع نفسي.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly.
اوه
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
ما ادري جبت العيد شكلي انا ولا ايش.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
رجعنا نفس الكلام.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
اما انتحار.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged.
المفروض كان اروح له ترى.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
المفروض كنت اروح له. ايه المفروض اروح له.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
اوكي اوكي تمام. اللودينج طول.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well,
بيتكلم عن الجيم ترى.
and how much better
انه
the
كيف كان
Stanley
محبط
Parable
وما في كونتنت
I
زيادة.
made something special and tucked it
ظبطني
away
هو
here
الآن
where the
يعني.
game's
اوكي.
developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
تيك ا لوك.
Take a look.
يلا ظبط لي كده ديلوكس اديشن على كيفك. اوه وات از ذس؟ سوالي وورد اوف ووركرافت هنا ولا ايش؟ اوكي.
I call it the memory zone.
Memory
It's
zone.
where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
ذكريات يقول لك اصدار اللعبة على البي سي. استنى ايش هذا؟ اوه
You see,
سنة
Stanley,
13.
doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something.
يقول لك يعني بيتكلم عن الجيم ايام ما نزل اول. شيء غريب انك تبدأ تتكلم مع او يعني الجيم يبدأ يتكلم معك. واخد جوائز. اوكي ماني فاهم ايش هذا. الساعة 20:13. ماني فاهم. غيرت الساعة بس. تخيل يكون هذا من جد يعني من عندهم في المكتب حقهم. اوكي المكان جميل صراحة. ترشحت للجوائز كتير كمان. اوكي ما اقدر اجي الا هنا. اوكي ليتس جو. شو المكان ده؟
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable.
اخذت 10 من 10.
Stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10
Oh.
from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created.
يتكلم عن انه اخذت يعني تعتبر احسن جيم اتعمل في العالم.
It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim.
اوف كانت
It was
سكايريم.
Persona 3. It was all of them. And now it's nothing.
بيرسونا 3.
It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable
يلا
anymore.
بالتوفيق.
It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
في صوت باب ينفك. اوكي. شو الجوائز اللي اخذتها؟ ماني قادر اصدق انه الجيم ده من 2013. ايش هنا تحت؟ maintenance. صور عن الجيم وكذا، كاميرات. what is this؟ كل شيء عن الجيم زي الميموري، زي المتحف. وشوف بيجيب اسامي الشركات. هنا جيم سبوت.
and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone.
يتكلم انه الجيم ما كان يحتاج اي اضافات زيادة يعني.
In the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
اوكي، في باب انفك وفي باب انفتح. ايش هذا؟ كيف اقدر اخش طيب؟ سيريوس رو؟ كيف اقدر اخش؟ ما اقدر انط. طيب هذا ما يقدر يجي الا هنا.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
اوكي. بس بتأكد ما اقدر اخش هنا من جد. بحس الطريق من هنا. طب خلينا نضغط على هذه، ما ضغط على هنا. اوكي. بس ما في اللي عندنا هذا الطريق. تحت.
Wait. Hang on.
اوكي.
I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
اوكي، ما دام انت ما تبغاني اخش هنا انا حاجي. اوكي، ايش المكان المكركب ده؟
Oh no. Oh God no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam.
Steam reviews.
Video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I
Oh.
can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing.
المضحك انه خلاص هو بيتكلم معاي عادي انه هو جيم وكده يعني، خلاص انه هو مسلم في الموضوع عادي يعني، انه انا قاعد اتكلم مع الجيم. اوف، تقييمات ستيم.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny.
قاعد يحش في اللي يتكلم.
Dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining.
What?
Funny.
عليكم السلام تينا.
Funny.
What?
I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
What? خلاص فصل على حقون ستيم. يا الله شوف قديش تقييمات ستيم. عادي، don't worry تينا، it's okay. داي جوفو. اوكي، احنا الحين في مستودع ولا؟ شوف تقييمات ستيم كده كلها not like or dislike. والله انا مخي نشف مع الاشياء اللي صارت هنا. شوف هنا برضو تقييم تاني. طريقة قرايته تضحك.
Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh goodness, this is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. dear. What an awful memory to have
طيب.
to hold on to. These black marks are
والحلو انه
my
خرجنا يعني
own
برا يعني
unbelievable
مش في
track
المبنى.
record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
اوكي محبط من
What's this
التقييمات.
one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations.
بيحشوا في الجيم.
I wish there was a skip.
اتوقع هذه تقييمات حقيقية انا.
A skip button.
سكيب بutton.
Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these
اوه
negative reviews.
في شيء بيطلع من المويه.
Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
اوكي حيسوي سكيب بutton.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you,
Okay.
with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped.
الوقت بدأ يتغير.
It's what the players have been asking for. and
أول
I'm
كان الوقت
very
ثابت.
proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people.
والله مو هو راضي
People want
يسكت.
silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get.
نضغط
Well,
الزر.
don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this.
دحين هو المفروض لو ضغطت هذا حيسكت.
And therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all,
اضغط.
until the end of time.
ما سكت.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue.
معناته لو سبته يتكلم برضه حتكون في نهاية.
And lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games.
اسكت. Shut up.
Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's
اسكت.
part of the button. The minute I
ماني قادر
started
اضغطه.
a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's
مشيه.
okay. Welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has
إلين ما أخليه يشيله.
is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes.
اسكت.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
شوف الوقت بيمشي.
You've just frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they
خليه يندم انه حاط سكيب.
look back.
شوف الوقت ما اقدر اشوفه.
Oh my goodness. I have someone to
والنبات
talk to.
النبات ماتت.
I think it's been a week or 2 weeks.
اسكت مو انت اديتني زر اقدر اسكتك انا قاعد اسكتك.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're
What?
here again. Look, I have had time to think about you and about
اسكت. Shut up. Shut the hell. اوكي. سكت. اضغط. 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 ايش هذا؟ استنى في صوت. الصوت من نفس الجهاز. What is this؟ اضغط.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are
What's
the
so
jokes?
skip?
Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed.
طيب. نضغط. نضغط.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never
أتجنن.
the end, is never 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 the end, is
والله جاب لي الجنان انا اقسم بالله. عنيد. مرة عنيد. الوقت بيتغير. اوه الدنيا تكسرت. What is this؟ شو الساعة كم؟ ايش بيصير؟ ماني فاهم بس الدنيا قاعدة تتشقلب. الدنيا تكسرت هنا وات. اهم شيء انه هو ساكت. طلعت نباتات. انا قديش الضغطة بتوديني، كم بتوديني الضغطة. حتى الساعة اختفت. اوه لا، الساعة موجودة. ما اقدر اروح هناك والله. بس الهدوء حلو يا اخي، صوته مزعج. والله خايف يجيني جمب سكير في ذا الجيم، اللي هو ما تتوقع انه في جمب سكير والله. بس الجو مرة مخيف. في اصوات صراخ. وات. والله قصة الجيم شيء ما اعرف، يلخبط، صعب انه اشرحها كده. بس هي اوه، هنا في طريق. استنى، هنا ما هذه ما تضغط خلاص. تكسرت. ما يضغط. فكر لنا طريق من هنا. اوه، الدنيا انتهت ولا ايش؟ ديد ستراندنج هذه. فين نمشي؟ انتهت؟ خلاص؟ العالم انتهى؟ ما ادري انا ماشي صح؟ مشكلة لا اقدر اجري ولا اقدر انط ولا اقدر اسوي ولا شيء. والله ما ادري انا ايش اللي بسويه. بس يلا نمشي نشوف ايش اخرتها. اكيد في لها نهاية. اوكي، هذه نهاية شكله من نهايات. وات ايش المفروض اسوي؟
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
والله ضيعت انا، ضيعت. فين المفروض في غرفة فيها نيو كونتنت. اوه، نيو كونتنت. اوكي.
Good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting.
شيء جديد يعني. ايش الجيم ما يخلص يا شباب؟ لسه مطولين يعني. 2 و500 نهاية جات. يا الهي. اوكي، المفروض انه دحين يتغير الوضع. اوكي، المفروض يتغير.
You see, Stanley,
هنا على طول طلع. ايوه.
Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this
اول وقف مدة
version
طويلة.
turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which
الدنيا ظلمت.
I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever.
ايش الاعلان اللي عنده؟
Stanley Parable 2.
الجزء الثاني. ياي.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel, an entirely new
والله
experience.
مخي خلاص.
Ground up. Why there are so many possibilities? It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
طيب. The end is never the end again. 427 هذا الرقم الوظيفي. 2. اوكي.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe. What does it
لسه ما
mean?
خلصت.
But
هي
the
كده 500 نهاية فيها
True.
يمكن.
Now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
انا متأكد ما تابعت انمي ساينس جيت. تابعته والله، بس في اشياء نزلت زيادة ما تابعتها. احس اللعبة وناسة حرام. في حنزلها في اليوتيوب، حتنزل ان شاء الله في اليوتيوب من اوله الين ما اخر شي حنوصل له. ماني عارف انا متى حوقف صراحة، بس مستمتع بالاحداث اللي كل شوي تتغير. ايه فاهم فاهم اللي قصدك يا فيروز. اوكي، بس هنا المكان ارتب يعني there back 2 doors ستانلي يعني هذه زي كأنه اعلان للجزء الثاني بدل الاسم اللي انا الجيم اللي انا قاعد العبه.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be.
Okay.
But let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it.
حط مزايا
I
زيادة.
figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
اوكي، عدل في الجيم يقول لك. to eye to ear. ايش الارقام هذه؟ فاحس في ناس كذا يحبوا الاشياء دي ويطلعوا الالغاز هذه. شوف sequels are good. Portal 2 Half-Life Batman Arkham Asylum City Divinity Original Sin دوم. هذه اسماء العاب كلها. طيب علامة غراب. This way to the show floor. Okay. New content, new feature. ايش هي طيب؟ شوف ليش خليني كذا الفلف، والله شيء غريب. اوكي
Here we are. Go
Okay.
on. Try out some of the new features.
ايش الفيتشرز؟ ايش الفيتشرز اللي موجودة؟ The button that says the name of the player that's playing the game. What؟ هذا حيقول اسمي؟ شوف هنا يقول لك الزر اللي
For
ضغطه.
the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the
What?
first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name
Okay.
of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
والله تخيل يجيب اسمي. اوكي يلا نجرب. بسم الله.
Sorry, I should have
مع نفسك.
clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim.
اوكي
Of course, in
الزر
the
يقول
final
بس جيم.
game, This button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here.
تخيل
let's
في
have
الأخير
your
يجي يقول
player's
اسمي.
Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
مع نفسك.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim.
ما أبغى أكون
Sleeping
جيم.
and waking as Jim. Falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim. Seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim. And as Jim, watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
لا
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
لا أنا ماني جيم. مع نفسك. أبغى أشرد من هنا. قفل. لا تجبرني. ما ابغى يجبرني انه انا اقول انه انا جيم يا اخي. انا مو جيم، انا سيلفر. لازم اضغط. يلا نضغط. تبا لك.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
بيتونس علي هذا قاعد.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
يعني يقول لك هذه الميزة لو
Let's
كانت
take a break
موجودة
from the
بس
gym button.
انك
I'm
تقول
too
اسم
emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
تسوى الجيم كله يعني.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much, Jim. I'm putting the gym button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually
اوريك خليه يندم. طيب بعدين نفك الباب. اجباري كان لازم اضغط.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
ايش هذا؟ What? No screenshot. ايش هذا؟ هذه شكله الكونتنت الجديد من جد يعني.
A
السطر.
common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You
Okay.
see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true.
يقول لي لما تمسك السطر حتحس بالراحة يعني.
The many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more
ايش الفائدة يعني اللي يبغاني اشيل فيها السطر هذا؟
redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
خلينا نجرب. اضحك علي قاعد.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well?
يعني طقطق علي.
Holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a
صرت
person.
جذاب يقول لك وانا شايل
The
السطر.
benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
ما اقدر ارميها. اوكي.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? Okay, I'll be
ورطني
honest,
فيه
I
الحيوان.
haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration.
غير ديكور المكتب يقول
But
لك.
I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Happy 12th birthday. نايس ولا get well someday. What؟ ايش الاختيارين اللي ما هي ابدا زي بعض؟ حق الجيم، تاريخ الجيم. اوكي اختار هذا.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
اما المفروض هذه. يلا.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
اوكي. The jumping circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well.
Okay.
Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
لو ما كملت النطاط كان هنا حتيجي.
I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
اوكي. هنا free new easy achievement. Hold the lever, receive your new. Okay.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement.
Okay.
Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
achievement يجيني مجرد ما اسحب هذه.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken.
لسه.
I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
والله قاعد يستهبل هذا علي. اوكي ترولني على كيفكم والله في الجيم ده. ايش هذا؟ مكان يعني اي شيء ممكن يصير بس ماني عارف كيف اتخلص منه.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
نشوف هنا ايش في. هذه جبتها انا. اوكي ايش في باقي؟ هنا ايش في؟ اوكي هنا الفضاء.
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them.
Okay.
I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
تجمعهم على الفاضي. اما في 6. collect them all. ان شاء الله كيف ححصلهم هذا؟
It really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
طيب ايه هو بيقولوا دائما gamers we hear you for the players. سوني.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
move on. هذا يشبه كريستيانو رونالدو. نيو موك. شوف الدخلتين كيف.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent.
والله مرة غريبة اللعبة.
I can feel it in my soul.
مرة.
It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
احطها كلها مع بعض هنا. اوكي اهم شيء انا معي السطل.
Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
تفضل. اوكي. هذا الجيم يعني يقول لك.
There's potential here, right? It's sort of okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement.
اوكي.
Okay.
ما اقدر اسوي ولا شيء بالسطل.
This is
تورطت فيه
much
بس.
better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags.
ما هو عارف ايش يسوي.
And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley
Okay.
Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
Okay.
Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead.
Take a look. العادة البداية حقت الجيم شوف تغيرت. والله انه مجنون. غير المقدمة كلها حقت الجيم. سك كمل.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building
تغيرت
where
ولا؟
he was employee number 427. Employee number 427
تغيرت ولا نفسها؟
was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk.
ما اقدر اسوي سكيب.
Buttons to push. How long to
اوكي لا بالماوس قدرت. رجعنا نفس الجيم. What the hell؟ خلايا اوه شوف هنا في بلالين.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
شو السطل؟ ناخده معانا؟
Stanley picked up the bucket.
جننت. اتعادت بس باختلاف. هذا هنا كان نيو كونتنت. يا الله.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly
Yeah.
to his chest and entered the door on his left.
ماني داخل الباب اللي على اليسار.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
اوكي.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him.
الحين الكلام تغير.
Employee lounge was simply the place to be.
الحوارات تغيرت.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room?
Oh.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
achievement انك تلعب اللعبة مرة ثانية بعد 10 سنوات من عمر حملتها. What؟
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, I will not go to the left.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
اوكي. راح الكارجو ليفت. البيبان تتقفل وراي عشان ما ارجع.
Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets...
والله من جد يقلد صوت الباكيت
Stanley
قلد.
chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly...
خلاص صار الحوار على السطل.
asked.
الحوار كله تغير. اوكي.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
دارك روم.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
هنا اوكي. الحين هو بيحاول يلعب بنفسيتي. يقول لك انه انا اسمع كلام الباكيت. اوكي رجعنا للتليفون.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
يبغاني ارفع
Phone, and
التليفون.
it will take us back home where we can go about life together.
مع نفسك.
Whoa, hold on. Why did
أفصل.
you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley.
There is no game. المشكلة اني شفتها.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness.
بس ماني عارف في جزئين ولا ماني فاكر ايش اللي شفته.
Seriously, where did I mess up the joke?
بس فاكر انها حاجة زي كذا.
Paused for longer or spoken quicker. Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there is
والله ماني فاكر النهاية.
instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh wait, yes there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
اوكي. ايش هو اللي
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more
قال لك
importantly,
علمني كيف اتكلم
can it be
الان ها؟
taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them
المطور لا
in a
والله ماني
room of
فاكر.
no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit with one of your arms raised straight
اقدر اسوي
upward
سكيب؟
at a
ما
50
اقدر اسوي
degree
سكيب.
angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then
مرة حاقد علي علشان ما رديت التليفون.
with these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor.
وايش راح زي كذا بالطريقة المملة عشان لا تختار الاختيار ده. ما بدك تسوي سكيب حتى.
Pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
مع نفسك. ما حقوله.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management. which is
عاجبني
the
الستايل حق
cornerstone of
كأنه
good
يعني
comedy.
شيء من ايام السبعينات
It's
وكذا.
time to hand out surveys. Collect
تعلم
hard
تنكت،
data
إيه
from
والله.
your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke.
كسروا
It's
الجدار
only a
الخامس
couple
هذا يا
hours
عمي
of
مو الرابع
comedian.
كان.
An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times. Just to ensure the survey
قولي
is
أنت.
actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at
هذا
your
كله
disposal,
ترى عشان التليفون.
you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war
تستخدم
to fight
اللاين
the
نفسه.
12-legged invader who threatened our very existence.
يا واد،
and
إيش
to
هذا؟
permanently die in a hailstorm of bullets
هذا
and
يشبه ترامب
bombs.
اللي في النص.
All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us.
ايش هذا عنده
Their
رجل؟
children after them. Godspeed and may Earth reign supreme.
هذا كله عشان بس سحب سلك التليفون.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story
والله
with
يبغاني
more
ارجع ثاني.
comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
طب ابغى ارد خلاص، انا اسف. وين نرجع؟ اوكي. حط لي هنا حواجز عشان لا انط.
Really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious.
اصلا ما عندي طريقة الا اني ارجع.
King of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we
King
have
of
an
comedy.
instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
السطل بيقول لي.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
طيب نرجع نشوف ايش حيقول. نرجع للباب، للبابين بالسطل ونشوف ايش يقول. ما حخش من نفس الباب اللي هو يقوله. طيب. مشكلة في كمية احتمالات لا نهائية الآن. اوكي.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
طيب. تبغى نروح يمين ولا يسار؟ يمين حيصير زي الايرور المفروض هي اول. يعني يصير كذا شيء المفترض يعني. بس معانا السطل، هذا الشيء الجديد. انا اشوف انه نروح يمين. لا يسار، اني سمعت كلامه، ففي اختيار اول انه رحنا يمين. ابغى اشوف بعده نروح يسار. خلينا نشوف يمين. ايوه، اوه شيء جديد الان. هذا شيء جديد.
We're back at the phone already.
اوكي اوكي.
Several rooms leading up to this.
لا لو رحت يسار حكمل في خط تاني. ابى اكمل مسار الخط اليمين انا الين ما خلاص يصير ما في شيء. صارت اول بس دحين تغيرت.
Joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake.
Okay.
I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke telling.
ايوه ما انا خلاص حخلي اول شيء اليمين نخلص ابوها كلها، بعدين اليسار وكل الاحتمالات.
Rewatch that instructional video.
اما حيخليني اشوفه مرة ثانية.
Surely that will help me improve my.
لا.
Here we go.
Okay.
You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
حلو. بس حشوف لو في هذا ما حروح. اللي شايفه تغيرت.
We're back at the phone already. No.
اوكي. شو انا هذا اللي بقصده، يعني يصير زي كذا زي اللوب، تبدا تنعاد خلاص. الحين نروح يسار. اوكي.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this was all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other jokers.
هذا قاعد يستهبل.
I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple
والله غصبا عني.
Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
ايش؟
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes.
رماني انا والسطل فوق.
I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No?
هذه النهاية جاتني أول بس بدون السطل.
Pale with shame. Pale with shame. Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No.
يعني الأحداث فيها ترابط وفيها اختلاف يخوف.
I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
اوكي. طيب نروح. ما في السطل ما في. إلا السطل فيه. حاخذ السطل. الحين نروح يسار.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
اوكي. الحين نروح يسار ونسوي الاشياء اللي في اليسار اللي ما يبغانا نسويها.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
هذه الغرفة من أول ما نعرف إيش فيها.
You feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is.
أقدر أحطها هنا؟
It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies.
طيب.
Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure
قاعد يستهبل علي.
on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of
والله
reasons.
طول في الموضوع.
This is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
صوت
That your
الشان
life
اي
is
والله.
so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never.
مو مرة يتنرفز لما اخش دي الغرفة.
Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
خلاص خلصت الله يقرفك. هاي.
Okay, I've got coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
محل تحت. اوه.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
والله شكله الوضع مطول. طيب.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that.
غيرت هنا
In
شوية.
such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
اوه الغرفة قاعدة
His
تتعاد.
boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to
قاعد
Stanley.
تنعاد.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe
لا ما
I'm
تعادت.
crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked.
المكان بيتعاد وما
Bucket
بيتعاد.
returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these.
كأنه بيتعاد صح؟
Close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps.
والله الحوار اتغير تماما.
Someone else's bucket. This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this.
راح الباكيت.
Sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley
الباكيت راح.
experienced without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd.
ممكن تخلص؟
Off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
أنا كأني قاعد
Where is it?
أكبر.
I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it calling to him. Stanley, Stanley, it's me.
أين أنت أيها الباكيت؟
Room to room, passing by one bucket after the next.
أيها الباكيت.
None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
What the hell?
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old
My
friend.
bucket!
It was the only way to truly restore his sanity.
Where are you?
He froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming.
والله
The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
وش الجنان هذا؟
Doubled over in agony and blacked out.
أغمى عليه.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
هنا بعد ما تلقاه ميت.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security.
Bucket of comfort.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town.
هذه صارت أول بس بدون الباكيت.
And then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion.
يا أخي هرجوا كتير.
Video game, it could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place.
Okay.
How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. With her a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
اوكي، الكلام مرة تغير عن اللي اول، وهذا شيء يعني كويس انه قاعدين نجيب نهايات زيادة. طيب نروح ناخذ الباكت ونطلع لغرفة الرئيس.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
اتوقع دحين حيكون مقفل لي الغرفة هذيك حقت المكنسة. اوه وات، هذا فين حنحصله؟ تغيرت الغرفة. اوكي والله مخي خلاص. ما اتكلم.
Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
اوكي بس بتأكد كنت انه فيه ولا لا. الحين نطلع غرفة البوس. The boss's room. اوه هذا مكان جديد.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
Mini
Stanley
stands.
things. What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Okay. Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the boss loses, then that's what the boss choose. كلام غريب. اوكي هذه الصورة شفتها اول. والله بدري نطلع فوق. نطلع فوق. ستانلي بينادي اسمي بصوت واطي. متى حنخلص؟ ولا شيء. نضغط تحت. ترول طلع الموضوع كله. ترولني مظبوط والله. حيوان كلب.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Was the bucket guiding?
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
اوكي. الكلام بيتغير عشان معايا الباكيت، وهذا شيء كويس. اوه.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
اوكي ننزل تحت. نروح يسار.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
والله
The
خلاص.
bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
خلينا نطلع.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
نضغط 3. نضغط رقم 3. اوكي كانوا اداني هنت يعني.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over.
اوكي.
Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
ما شيء غريب والله. اتوقع انه خلاص. يعني نرجع للأسانسير.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
اوكي.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley.
خليه يتنرفز.
Should he demonstrate? No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
ضحك الحوار. طيب. اوكي. اوكي.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears, and the whole time he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind, anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence.
Okay.
Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
اوكي ما في شيء.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator.
He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
طيب دحين نشوف طريق جديد.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read,
نروح الاسكيب.
control for... Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
حنموت.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Let's go. وش هذا؟
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
اتوقع يصير زي اول.
It puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
وداعا.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
What?
In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Okay. اهرب.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are
والله
rich
مخي
in their
خلاص.
own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Welcome. The bucket.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris?
والله مخي خلاص.
Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever?
ماني قادر ألحق. ماني قادر أجمع. خلاص مخي نشف. صرت زي من جد زي السطل. إيه باكل. ما أدري إذا الصوت طالع. بس ما رجعت. أيها السطل. يا الله. سووا تاريخ للسطل.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
What? أخذناه. Okay.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
ليش؟
Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new...
نسيت أنا إيش سويت. نسيت إيش سويت أول. لا تقول لي رجعنا من البداية.
This is the...
لا. خلاص مخي فصل والله.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
افترض
be?
شكل انه خليها
Stanley
تدعسني.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply... Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming
جبت العيد. ابغى اشوف بس لو عدتها ايش حيصير. والله جبت العيد شكلي. اي والله. عموما انا كده خلاص مخي وقف من جد، ماني قادر افكر ايش اجيب نهايات ثانية، وجبت نهايات مرة كثير. ف اتمنى ان تكون عجبتكم اللعبة، ولو حابين انه ممكن اكمل واشوف ايش النهايات الثانية حنسويها ان شاء الله في وقت ثاني. بس الله يعطيكم العافية.